In the current climate crisis, we are often told to take individual actions such as eating less meat, buying organic, reducing waste, and recycling. But how much do these personal efforts truly change a system that is inherently flawed? This is a question we asked Frederique Prasterink, professor of future food systems at the Haas-Green Academy. And this is what she told us.
I really recognize how you feel, and it can also be really depressing. I hear you say that.
Yeah.
I feel you say that, let's say. And I also, there's a lot of students also in the beginning with climate depression, or the overwhelmingness of the complexity of all the issues. But for me, what really helps is that every individual one, like you, like me, and many others, we all have a circle of influence. When you study, it's maybe still relatively small. When you are further in your professional career, you have maybe colleagues, or you become director of something. But already now you have your circle of influence with your family, with the housemates, in your project team, whatever. And that is very important. Never underestimate your circle of influence. No matter if you think it's maybe very small, or I know just 4 or 5 people, that's it. Mm-hmm. No, the way what you decide and the way you act and you live is an example for many others. And that's your influence.
So we set out to find people who are transforming their own circle of influence through small yet powerful initiatives, showing us not just the world as it is, but as it could be.
In the pocket, maybe? Okay. Can you please tell us your name and the work that you do here?
I'm Menno. I'm involved in this project that started 15 years ago. From the very beginning I was involved. And what we try to do here is offering examples of good, responsible food production. As a method, we use permaculture. That's a method in which we work together with nature. And actually the garden is divided in 3 parts. The building and everything on it, and then we have a vegetable garden, and we have a part with perennial plants, fruit and nuts, and actually that's a core business of permaculture, and it's not very productive, but it's meant to be an example, a learning situation. The main purpose is education and not production. Yeah.
That's really interesting. So is your role here a teacher, or are you the manager? What is your role?
I'm in charge of the garden and the whole thing, but I have another thing here. I organize all the courses that we have here, the trainings, the lectures, workshops, and that's where I live from.
But can you explain what makes permaculture different to other types of agriculture?
I think it's quite a complete approach. You really observe what are the conditions, what is nearby, what are the influences from outside, sun, wind, etc. And also the soil, what is the soil, what has it been, what wants nature herself grow here, and how can we bend this into more food production for humanity. And we don't use chemical systems, and so that's the main goal, cooperating with nature and make sure that all living beings can eat and survive, and for many generations to come as well, of course. Yeah.
That sounds really beautiful. And I just wanted to ask what started your journey in permaculture? how did it begin?
Just by accident, I was involved in a project in the east of Holland I said somewhere in 1994, where I, as an IT worker, worked in a team, and they had a garden there, and that was one of the first permaculture gardens in the Netherlands, and so that was a beautiful. Actually, the team said at a certain point you are sitting too long behind your computer. Just go part-time work in the garden. That's for your own health. And then I did it, and I enjoyed it. And the garden, I saw, it played a big role for a few of them, or many of them, as a environment that can heal or make you more resilient in your life situation.
And how has this like center impacted you? Like how has it maybe changed the way you see the world?
Permaculture is a kind of uh, toolbox, and you can use that to observe and understand how the world is working or should work. And I use these tools, these basic design principles to design my own life, but also it really tells about relationships and the whole world hangs together. We cannot separate everything without looking sometimes to the whole. So, one of the principles of permaculture is that you come from a broader perspective, go to details, and then back to the broader perspective. And when I do this and I look at the world's food situation, I think one of the things that we can do here is grow our own food, organize in a way that it's healthy, that the soil is clean and can really bring up plants that are healthy for us. And also, if we create our own food system here, we do not need to import it, so that's a loss. That's less energy taking, but also people from where we take it from now can eat their own food. And what I think one of the main concerns that I have is that we are taking food from all over the world, but not bringing back the compost that comes from it. So we really are stealing their nutrition that belong there. So I think if we have our own food here organized in a proper, sustainable way, then it's very fair for the people elsewhere. They have their own food and their own systems.
And what is like the biggest obstacle that you face?
Here in the Netherlands now, and especially here in this part of the west of the high prices of the grounds. If you want to produce food, actually, it is very difficult to make a business out of it because of the high prices of the soil, and then all the rules that we have that still chemicals are allowed. So that kind of things that are obstacles, but we can do it without, and we do it without. So that's not the biggest obstacles.
And the people that are coming here, how do you share your knowledge with them?
By organizing the courses and make sure that all this information is shared and that they are trained in how to use it. Then we have days that volunteers can come and work and learn at the same time. Then sometimes we have guided tours here, and I'm participating in other organizations that try to put this kind of ideas into place in the Netherlands. So that's.
And going back to the question or the answer about the land prices, are you working with the other organizations to try to change that, or working with the government?
We do not work much with the government because we think that it's very important to know and learn how to survive as a grassroots movement. So
Maybe coming on from that answer, what do you hope to leave behind to the community? You know, what mistakes have you made that you hope other people can learn from?
Yeah, actually, one of the things that people can learn from is the translation that we made from in permaculture from a system that is more coming from a tropical background into a system that can work in this climate with this kind of soil situations.
You mentioned this earlier, just the climate change crisis that we're in, and us too, we sometimes feel quite hopeless when we see the news, and we sometimes think like maybe if we make individual changes, that won't really make an impact. But we want to ask you, how do you stay hopeful, and whether you think, yeah, these kind of grassroots movements are enough for now.
One of the things that give me hope is seeing young people, if they are artists or not, are getting interested in this kind of things, and this is growing. I also I see that um, a few and getting a bigger part of the students in our year training uh, are not following the training because of they want to have their own project. Maybe they have a small backyard garden where they can practice, but they want to use the insights and the vision and the understanding that's behind it in their work situation. And sometimes there are people who are really uh, involved in governmental organizations close to the top and really try to change the approaches that governments have into a more natural, sustainable way. And I think that movement got bigger in the last 2, 3 years. We have people who are involved in land planning and etc. In city development and or working on sea with the balance between nature and all the windmills that they want to put there. I think that's very important that this happens. So at a certain point, we, the more of us, then we can change things on a bigger scale.
Yeah. So it starts small, you know,
It
grassroots.
has been starting small and it's already getting bigger and bigger. Yeah.
So what can a person that has no experience in permaculture but is interested, what can they do to start?
If they want to have producing their own food,
Or wants to maybe have a more sustainable relationship to food and agriculture?
yeah, just visit our on the moments that we have for example, a market, and that's a very nice way to get involved or get some, yeah, find out what is offered because we have some workshops, guided tours. They can buy plants and get information and inspiration. So that's a good thing. There's a lot of information on the internet going on. We have our website with links, but there will be much more in the future. I think we have already links to 100 good inspirational projects. So that's a thing. The Facebook groups, I do not like Facebook that much, but they work in a way. So your Facebook group that's simple permaculture, you can find a lot of good information as well as bullshit there as well. But that are the entrance and visit the projects that are available or get involved in an organization like Ons Eten Den Haag, which is us setting up food hubs where people who are involved in food and want to promote healthy food are coming together. So that Ons Eten Den Haag has an own website. Visit us or come and help us on a sunny day.
Perfect. All right, thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And for the really great answers. Very inspirational. Because I guess, yeah, everything that changes comes from grassroots.
I hope so.
Yeah. I hope so too. Hopefully this has some impact or more people find out.